Deontay Wilder retains his WBC heavyweight title with an 11th round TKO over Johann Duhaupas. First and foremost, I have to say this was a very entertaining fight. There was lots of action, big punches landed by both men. Both guys had some facial damage. Duhaupas was cut on the bridge of the nose, and Deontay Wilder had a pretty badly swollen eye, which was swollen from quite early on in the fight. He was getting hit with some right hands and quite a lot of jabs from Duhaupas. Now, I know that a lot of people are going to criticize this performance heavily in terms of Wilder's performance. Now, I criticize Wilder's performance against Molina very heavily. But this time around, I actually thought it was a fairly decent performance by Wilder. And I'll tell you why. Just because Duhaupas is unknown, it don't mean that he can't fight. Because I've actually watched some of Duhaupas' fights. I saw his fight against Tepa, and I've seen several of his other fights. And as we know, Tepa can really punch. Don't just look at the David Price fight, because we know David Price has got chin issues. Go look at a lot of other Tepa fights, and you'll see this guy has got seriously heavy hands. And he went toe-to-toe with Duhaupas over 12 rounds. And Duhaupas was never remotely hurt by Tepa in that fight. So, at the very least, Deontay Wilder did better against Duhaupas than Tepa did, because he managed to stop Duhaupas. Tepa didn't manage to stop him, never really managed to hurt him. So, those people who are saying that Tepa is better than Wilder, Tepa would knock Wilder out, we don't know whether they're right or not. But at the very least, you have to say that Wilder did a better job on this opponent than Tepa did. You have to say that. He obviously did. He hurt him much more. He stopped him, obviously. And I felt like he handled him physically better than Tepa did. Tepa never really bullied Duhaupas the way that Deontay Wilder did. Now, obviously, there were flaws in this performance from Wilder. Don't get it twisted. He was getting hit too much for my liking. And certainly was getting hit a lot more than he was in the Berman-Stavern fight. But that's because Berman-Stavern was so short and so poor as a pressure fighter. Basically, Johann Duhaupas, even though he's 6'5", he didn't try and box with Wilder. He tried to fight a pressure fight. He's only a couple inches shorter, but his reach seemed to be far shorter. His arm length, anyway, maybe not his reach, but his arm length seemed to be far shorter than Wilder's arm length. So he just put his hands up, was marching forward. He was trying to use his jab, and his jab was quite effective at times. But I don't think Duhaupas is the biggest puncher. He's kind of a mediocre puncher. So Wilder was able to take his punches quite easily, actually. And Duhaupas was landing a lot of clean shots in there. Uppercuts, right hands over the top, jabs. But at no time did Wilder seem shaken or in the slightest bit troubled by any of Duhaupas' punches. I think Molina seemed to rock Wilder a lot more than Duhaupas did. But I'm telling you right now, Duhaupas is a much better fighter than Molina. So this was a better performance for me, much better performance than the Molina performance against a better opponent than Molina. So that shows progress, that shows improvement. The commentary team, the PBC commentary team, was saying that this is a great learning experience for Deontay Wilder, and I completely agree. He will learn so much from this fight. In fact, I saw him growing in this fight. I saw him gain more confidence and start to try new things out. Wilder being a tall, lanky guy, you assume someone like that won't have an inside game. But Wilder's inside game is actually not that bad. I'm not saying it's anything special, but for a tall, lanky guy who is untidy at the best of times, especially when he starts winging shots, his inside game's not that bad. We saw glimpses of it in the Berman-Stavern fight late on in that fight, but we saw more of it in this fight. And there was one round in particular where he was really pushing Duhaupas back on the inside, landing uppercuts, and there was a sustained attack on the inside from Wilder, and he was getting really physical with him. I like the fact that he's able to get physical with a big, strong guy like Duhaupas. I like that. Okay? Probably not going to want to do that with everyone, but I like the fact that he's got it in reserve if need be. Now, yes, he got hit a lot and all that kind of stuff, but Wilder's strengths have always impressed me. His punching power impresses me. Again, people are going to say he should have knocked Duhaupas out in one round. Why? Just because Dupas is unknown, it don't mean he can't have an amazing chin. Mariusz Wach was unknown before he fought Vladimir Klitschko, but yet he went 12 rounds with Klitschko and took everything Klitschko had to throw at him. David Haye fought some journeyman. I believe the guy was from France or Belgium early on in his career. He had a Muslim name. I can't remember the guy's name, but he went 12 rounds with David Haye, and he's one of the few people that managed to survive 12 rounds with David Haye. And David Haye was hitting him with everything, and he couldn't get him out of there. And that guy's just an unknown journeyman that David Haye fought. Sometimes lower level fighters have got tremendous punch resistance, and Dupas never went down in this fight, even though he was stopped in the 11th. But to me, he showed tremendous punch resistance. I think Wilder's power is legit, definitely legit. He hurt Berman Stavern plenty of times in their fight, particularly early on. Definitely hurt him. I think Wilder's power is serious. I love Wilder's energy. Even late in a fight, he was absolutely bubbling with energy, even though it'd been quite a tough fight for him. He'd had to exert himself and throw quite a lot of punches in this fight, but he was bubbling, bursting with energy even late on in the fight, and he was able to close the show and finish it. And that's because of Wilder's wiry frame, because he don't have a big heavy body like a Vladimir Klitschko or a Tyson Fury. He's got this, slender, wiry frame, which he's able to retain far more energy late on in the fight than these guys with bigger, heavier bodies. So I'm impressed with his energy. And when he starts letting shots go, Wilder can be wild, yes. But if you're standing in front of Deontay Wilder and he's winging them big whipping shots at you, I'm telling you right now, that is not a nice place to be. When Vladimir Klitschko's throwing shots at you, it's all very routine. It's all very predictable, really, when Vladimir's throwing shots at you. Vladimir really don't do that much unpredictable apart from that left hook that he throws. Okay, but it's all very methodical. That's the word I'm looking for when Vladimir's throwing shots at you, and he breaks you down gradually normally. But with Wilder, when he starts winging them fast whipping shots, he can overwhelm opponents with that type of attack, even though a lot of it is wild, because the punches are coming so fast. And he's got them big bony knuckles that he's cracking you with. I'm telling you, it's not nice to be in front of him. He's like a threshing machine when he starts letting them shots go. As untidy as it might look from the outside, standing in front of him, I'm telling you, that's not a nice place to be. So I was happy with the improvements that I saw from Wilder's previous performance. And I'm more optimistic now than I was after the Molina fight. Okay, perhaps the Molina fight, it was a case of being nervous in front of his hometown, fighting in his hometown for the first time. Maybe there was some nerves there, a little bit of stage fright. This time, he was calmer. He seemed to be enjoying himself far more, and he put on a good, entertaining show for the fans. Alabama and the crowd that turned up, they obviously loved it. They're casual fans, but again, I'm not a person who is just snobby about casual fans all the time. At the end of the day, if boxing don't have casual fans, then these fighters won't be able to make any serious money. So, yeah, it can be frustrating sometimes debating with casual fans. But in terms of them turning up to support someone like Deontay Wilder and loving the occasion and not really caring about the guy being a poor opponent or an unknown opponent anyway, it's not a completely bad thing, people. At the end of the day, he is a heavyweight champion. He's the WBC heavyweight champion, and he's learning on the job. Did Dupas deserve a title shot? Definitely not. He obviously didn't deserve a title shot. But for what it was a good learning experience for Wilder. I saw improvement there, and his strengths still impress me. That hand speed, that long right hand, his ability to punch very fast in combinations. He was even whipping body shots in this fight. Left hooks to the body, right hands to the body. I'm telling you, I saw some nice things there from Wilder. I'm not going to say he's going to beat Vladimir Klitschko at this point. Right? Still got plenty of weaknesses, but I'm seeing improvements. And as I say, I'm impressed by the strengths that he does have. Okay? So drop your comments below, people. Let me know your assessment of this performance. And, those of you who didn't see it, he ended up grinding Dupas down basically over the course of the fight. And in the 11th round, Dupas was under a barrage of shots, and I thought it was a good stoppage. The referee should have stopped it. he did well to stop it when he did, because Duhaupas had really had enough. Very, very tough man, Duhaupas. Very, very tough man. Maybe the world's toughest Frenchman at this point. But yeah, that's my assessment of the fight. Let me know how you felt about this performance of Wilder, and how do you see him getting on against Povetkin? After this Deverne fight, I felt that Wilder has a pretty good shot of beating Povetkin. After the Molina fight, I felt, what? If Wilder fights like that against Povetkin, he's going to get knocked out early. After this performance, I don't know. I'm starting to think more. Maybe Wilder does have a good shot of beating Povetkin. I'd probably make Povetkin still a favourite, but Povetkin's not as tall as Duhaupas. His arms ain't as long, and you have to figure he's going to find it a bit more difficult than Duhaupas did to get close to Wilder. So, I don't know. I think that's an intriguing fight. I don't see that as a mismatch on that performance by Wilder. Again, obviously Duhaupas is not nowhere near as good as Povetkin, but he has certain attributes that Povetkin don't have. He's 6'5", while Povetkin's only about 6'2". Got longer arms. It's easier for him to reach Wilder with the jab and with the right hand. When Wilder moves backwards, when his opponent attacks him, he moves backwards and leans back. Okay? Now, Duhaupas was able to touch him. When he leans back against Povetkin like that and stands up straight and leans back, Povetkin ain't going to be able to touch him. He ain't going to be able to touch unless he gets the right angle on him against the ropes. If they're in the middle of the ring and Wilder's leaning back like that from Povetkin's punches, Povetkin ain't going to be able to reach him. And if Povetkin's missing, Wilder's going to be countering very quickly with that whipping right hand. So I think that's an interesting fight, and I certainly hope it happens next. Again, let me say, drop your comments below, people. I know a lot of you are going to disagree with me, but I'm far more optimistic about Deontay Wilder after that performance, even if it was against an unheralded opponent. All right? It's your boy Hatman. I'm out.